my thoughts on it right now is it's a very useful tool for someone like myself who knows how to do this themselves. I know what I'm looking at. I know what to ask it for. I know what's possible. I know it's not a great approach. I have ideas of what would make more sense. I'm also a little more keenly paying attention to what it's telling me, just like I showed with the way of doing interval. I think if you were getting started coding, you'd probably have to approach this from a different standpoint. Ask it to do more basic things and spend more time. Like every time it builds something, you should probably. The problem also as a newer developer is if you were to look at what it did here. Um, you can see what it's writing, which is cool. It gives you an idea of how you can do this and how what your files can look like. The thing I would be mindful of is I'm not sure how good of an example any of these things are. So if we look at some of these changes here, like if you see this, this is actually I would have noticed this really early on in a PR. If reminder in text includes 15 minutes, include, like this is even, it's not even matching it directly. It's doing an includes, and then it's adding this time. So I'm gonna have to find out where it did this instead. This is not great. You should really be mapping this label, maybe have an enum of labels to time offsets. So you're not matching this as an includes, and you can just look up the string 15 minutes should be a key, and then that key should have minus 15, or I would actually go down to the seconds. You're not going to have people changing milliseconds, but you might be having it in 30 seconds. And then what are you going to do? You can't do minus 15, you do minus 0.5 maybe, I don't know. So basically you would want to have an enum, or at least an object of key to time offsets, and then all you have to do is pass in, where are we, reminders panel, for each reminder calculate reminder time offset minutes. So there you go. You just pass in the offset minutes. That's what you would do. And that way it's flexible. Like this can be any interval that you want, especially if you're programmatically being able to add this for advanced users. They could just type in, minus 300 or something. So this is actually a really bad pattern. So if you were a newer developer and you saw this, you might be like, oh, I can just do if else, if else, if else. That's not good. This is a very bad, if you see yourself doing this, this is a bad pattern, and you probably want a switch statement or an enum or a utility function rather than doing this. So this is something like, as a newer developer, you got to be mindful of. But again, if you didn't know that even how to write this code, and you saw this and you wrote it, you're learning just like we're all learning. Like I've learned not to do this many, many years ago, but there's plenty of other things I'm learning that someone who's better at it would look at it and go, you shouldn't really do that. You should do this instead. So the fact that AI can't really do that for you as a junior or entry-level developer, be careful. Use this to learn basics, but try to find a human, especially if you have it in your job, you should be getting this. If you don't have a job doing this yet, then it's fine to learn, but also read some blogs, look at other people's code, try to work with other more senior developers who can let you know if what you've started to learn is a bad pattern. Because this is part of what you'll get from working at an actual development environment with real human developers, is someone's going to review a diff like this, a PR, if you put a push-up code like this, and I would come back and say, hey, this doesn't look good. Why don't you move this into an enum? And then you might be like, I don't know what an enum is, or how would I do that? And then you can work with someone who can teach you how to do this. Or you can ask AI, hey, turn this into an enum, and they probably can do that for you too. So this is, I think, the difference between using AI as a senior developer, where I can go in and ask it. I did ask it to refactor it. It looks like it did a good job doing it. I'm not going to dive into it right now, but it looks like it actually did refactor and try to make it more flexible. But as a junior developer, use this tool, pay attention to what it's doing. If something doesn't look right to you, ask it. You can even ask it like, hey, is this the best way to do this? Or what do you think about this? And just try to dive into, before you commit a pattern to memory or you make it a habit, double check that it seems right to you. If you're typing a lot, if you're repeating yourself a lot, if you see it using the same logic in multiple places, you probably want to refactor that out. So that's just things you'll get better at as you develop more. And as a senior, this is actually kind of fun.